Hello, mysterious person behind the screen, and welcome to the final part of our Dark Knight trilogy commentaries. I'm once again joined by Isaac,
Hello.
and this time we're doing The Dark Knight Rises. So, without further ado,
If you'd like to sync this up with your own copy of The Dark Knight Rises, put the film to the start and press play in three, two, one, go. So this film does fall into the category of, the third film of a trilogy being quote unquote the weakest.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, for it's definitely my least favorite. Um, but
Yeah, but it
yeah,
has a lot of merit.
oh yeah, oh absolutely. There's a lot of merit to it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think for me it's more the pacing. Really, I just think it's just drags on a bit. I think it is too long, but I think what the content that's in there is actually really good for the most part.
it is. Yeah. And also, yeah, to be honest, I think for a nearly 3 hour film, it doesn't drag at all, and I'd say it does justify its runtime. And yeah, because I can remember there being when it came out, not hate, but a bit of disappointment from people. And I think
Mm.
because maybe people were setting their standards too high after The Dark Knight. Yeah, and just because, yeah, it's not as good as The Dark Knight, but I don't think we should ignore its merits because it's got plenty and it's very strong.
Yeah, there is a lot of merit to it. It's still the filmmaking is still like top notch. Um, I
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, heck, I'd take this over a lot of things in the DC, over the majority, I'd say, of things in the DC EU.
yeah, probably I would as well. I think. Yeah, there is. It's an odd one I think because its reputation I think has kind of gone down over the years. Um, where which is interesting.
I I don't know, because I think its reputation has improved quite a bit, but
Mm,
a lot of people do acknowledge that it has flaws, but it has a lot of strengths as well. Because
yeah,
I go onto YouTube, see clips of this, see comments, and quite a lot of them are pretty positive. They say a perfect way to end a masterful trilogy, and the ending of this was so spectacular. We'll never see the like of the Dark Knight trilogy again. So
interesting.
yeah, I think I would say its reputation has improved because it definitely fits with the other two, and it's yeah probably the one that's least, as we said before, least standalone because
Mm.
there are a lot of callbacks to the first and second film.
Yeah, I think that's the thing as well, and I think it is a good ending to it. I think it is a good ending
Definitely,
to the
yeah.
story. Yeah, yeah. I guess I'll talk about kind of my issues with it as we go along, but I do think it's a worthy ending to what the films have been building up to since the first one.
Yeah, and yeah, this guy holding the gun is Aidan Gillen, who Game of Thrones
Mm.
fans will recognize as Littlefinger.
Yeah, he's been in quite a lot of things, isn't he? Has he been in Doctor Who before, or am I imagining that?
I I don't think he has.
It's
No,
quite surprising actually, because
he's
he's quite an established actor.
yeah, he was in Bohemian Rhapsody as Queen's manager,
Course,
something like that.
course, yeah, he
I
was.
s- was he in Rocket Man as well, or have I made that up?
The same character, or I guess the same guy was in Rocket
Oh,
Man, but it wasn't the same actor. It was a different, but it was
all
yeah, because
right, it was the same character.
John Reed managed Elton John and Queen, so it was the same.
Ah, okay,
Yeah,
I
it's the same
see.
same guy.
I think Tom Hardy as Bane is terrific. You know,
I think so. Yeah.
yeah, he said he found it hard to do the fight scenes with Batman, not because it was physically hard, but because he didn't want to beat up his childhood hero.
Oh, I think he is great in this. What do you think about the voice?
I do like it, but yeah, it is sometimes hard to hear, particularly when he's in a conversation with Batman.
Yeah, well,
A lot of the time, it
interestingly,
just sounds like.
yeah, go on. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, interestingly, this whole section here, it was a similar thing with the Dark Knight, where they released this opening uh, in IMAX cinemas as like an event about a year before the film,
Yeah.
came out, and Bane's voice was different, and the voice got
Oh, okay.
yeah, the voice got so many complaints because it was so hard to hear that they changed it for the final film. And if you listen
All
to
right.
this scene as it is the version we're watching, like the final film, you'll notice that Bane's dialogue is really loud in the mix, and they did that on
Ah,
purpose because
okay.
in the original IMAX preview, it was literally just because
Mm.
of the noise of the plane and everything. It was just coming out like this, and like you couldn't hear
Oh
anything.
God.
And it's on YouTube. There's a comparison on YouTube of the audio from that version and the final film. Um,
Wow.
and it's
I
very
need to check
interesting
that
to
out.
hear. It is really interesting to hear because they actually did get Tom Hardy in to re-record all of the lines, so they are all different takes. And yeah, like when he says the fire rises, in the original he just goes, yeah, fire rises, but in this one it's obviously fire rises. So.
Mm. And the plane sequence here is I don't know if it's true, but it's pretty much License to Kill, isn't it?
Oh, essentially, yeah. It's the
Yeah.
same thing, yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me if he wasn't if Christopher Nolan was influenced by it.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me either.
Yeah, I love that shot of the camera stays still, but the plane comes speeding out. That's great,
He's really inventive, and especially because obviously it's all practical again. And
and it's all done for real. That
yeah,
is amazing. A a day named after a politician. I wonder if that has any real world comparison.
bloody hell, who knows? Well, yeah, who
I
knows?
mean, if they announced a Boris Johnson Day, I don't think anyone would
Oh
celebrate.
Christ! Now, of course, it's. I guess we should mention it, but at the time when this came out, obviously the midnight showing was the big mass shooting, wasn't it? Um,
Yeah, was it in Colorado, something
Colorado,
like that?
yeah, which was
Yeah, there
horrific.
was a horrible shooting.
Yeah, and afterwards, I think Christian Bale and Christopher Nolan visited the survivors in hospital, which was really nice, really
Oh,
cool of
that's
them to do.
good.
But
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, he's Thomas Wayne in Joker, isn't he?
Oh, the guy who plays the senator
Yeah,
who's with
yeah,
Selena. Oh, I didn't know
yeah.
that.
He's Thomas Wayne in Joker. I think. Yeah,
Yeah, it amazes me. 8 years and his wife and kids never said anything.
yeah. You sort of.
Mm,
That's kind of. I wish the film kind of dived into that almost like.
yeah, they could have
Yeah.
provided an explanation.
Because that's a story in and of itself, like a family dealing with the trauma of having to keep this whole big traumatic event secret. That's a story within itself.
And even though they say crime is at an all-time low, Gotham's one of the happiest places on earth. I do like how it is shown in the cinematography because it's a lot less
Mm.
murky and muddy than say Batman Begins when that was the height of organized crime. So
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
it's nice that they're reflecting that in how the film's shot.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And this film did take, I mean, it's not a direct adaptation, but it did take ideas from The Dark Knight Returns with
Yeah,
a crippled Bruce Wayne coming out of retirement.
yes,
But
yeah, exactly.
yeah. And one problem I've heard is that some people thought that the whole Bruce Wayne retires as Batman, it was too soon for a third film. And
Mm,
I can see why, because when you factor into it, how long was he Batman? A year?
basically,
Like, how
yeah,
long was.
yeah,
Yeah, how long did he have the suit on and fight crime? Like a year?
yeah, which is kind of why these films are kind of best viewed as
Mm.
Elseworlds almost. I don't know because
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
that if you try and view them as this big I don't think they hold up as the definitive adaptation of Batman. Because
Exactly,
as
yeah.
good as they are, they obviously they take place in such a hyper realistic world that it's
Mm.
I don't think they're the definitive versions of these characters. But that's fine. That's totally okay because it gets so much right.
Ah, they do explain what happened to his family. They say his wife
Yeah,
took the kids to Cleveland. Okay, I
yeah.
buy that.
I buy it. Yeah, I always forget about that line.
What do you think of Anne Hathaway as Catwoman?
I think she's really really good. I don't know if she necessarily has a place in this story. Um, I sort of I've
Yeah.
never been. I don't know. I've always because especially when we get later on in the film when it's big no man's land and it's big hyper like apocalyptic events, I am always a bit like,
Mhm.
does a cat burglar have a place here? Um, but
Yeah,
I think
because I
she's great.
think yeah, because I think her and Batman they work well together as a double act, but the romance just feels kind of forced.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I just
agree.
don't buy them that they love each other. Like, I get they like each other and
Yeah,
uh, they fascinate each other, but love, not really.
no, I agree. I definitely agree, and I think it's yeah. I don't know. I think she'd work better in a different film. Like I say, I just don't think she necessarily has a place here, unfortunately.
I mean, because I heard Anne Hathaway or apparently was auditioning for Black Cat for the unmade Spider-Man 4, but I could be completely wrong.
I've heard that before. Yeah, they're the thing is about Spider-Man 4 is there's so many stories about that, and you never know which ones are
Yeah,
true or not. Like there are stories that she was auditioning for Black Cat. There are stories that they were gonna have the Vulture in it, and she was gonna be a female version of the Vulture
yeah.
called the Vultress, which
Oh, okay.
so yeah, I don't know. There was this all sorts of story. I think she was considered for a role in Spider-Man 4, but whether it was Black Cat, who knows?
Yeah, because I do know they were going to have Dylan Baker as Dr. Connors finally turn into the
Yeah,
Lizard
there was. Yeah,
for
that
Spider-Man 4.
there was. That's the thing about that film. Like all cancelled films, I guess there's so many ideas floating around out there that you never know
Yeah.
which ones we're actually going to see the light of day.
I mean, it amazes me how little Michael Caine's in this because
Mm.
I think like half an hour, 45 minutes in, he says, "I'll do this, then I'm gone," and he keeps to that because we don't see him again till the very
He
end.
literally buggers off, yeah, and I think it's such a shame because he's obviously one of the best parts of this trilogy.
Yeah, but then again, what would he have done during the No Man's Land scene? Because you
Mm.
can't exactly have him walk across the ice because he'd probably fall through and die.
Yeah, that is true.
I remember when this film finished, and obviously with the ending, people thought that because of John Blake's name, Robin, people thought, oh, is there going to be a Robin spin-off?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
But Nolan said, no, it's just the ending to the trilogy.
Yeah, and I like that. I like the fact that it's sort of Batman is an idea, a legacy, and a name
Yeah,
that can
that
be passed
anyone
down.
can. Yeah, it can be passed down to the right person,
Mm.
and that's what I do like about John Blake's character is that throughout the film he constantly proves that he is the right person for the job,
Mm.
and Bat and Gotham is always going to need Batman because by the end he is a symbol that's worth believing in.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Right. Yeah.
And of course, as Alfred is about to mention the whole restaurant thing, I think Christian Bale gets kind of sick of being asked the question: "Is it a dream? Was it real? Is it a dream?"
Yeah. Who who knows? I mean, to be honest, I don't necessarily think about it that hard because I think
Yeah,
if you think about it too hard, then you're just going to fall into the trap of, well, how does a human being escape a nuclear bomb, um,
yeah.
and still live to tell the tale? And how does this happen? How does that happen? And just just roll with it.
Hmm. Yeah, because a lot of people seem to have a problem with Batman's ending. That he's dodging his responsibilities, he's being a
Mm.
coward, but I don't see it like that. I mean,
No.
the guy, because they establish pretty much in the first film that Bruce Wayne wants to be happy, and Batman is a way of coping with that. But if he finds someone that will make him happy and lead a quote unquote normal life,
Yeah.
um, he will pursue that. So for me, it's the perfect ending for this iteration of Batman.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I think if it was like Spider Man, I might agree. Because obviously that whole thing is
Yeah,
about responsibility, but this
it
is
is. Yeah,
different. Did you notice, by the way, heist was misspelled there on the newspaper?
oh,
It was spelled as heist.
East.
Heist.
Oh dear. Michael Caine is one of those actors you just don't want to see cry.
No,
You
yeah,
just want to give him a big hug because he's so good at it.
yeah. Well, I remember in the trailer leading up to this, that whole thing. The line isn't in the film. I forget the line now. It's like, I promised them I will protect you, and I haven't. And it's just like it's not in the film, I think, or at least it's a different take. And I just remember in the trailer, it's such a heartbreaking moment.
And I think it is a great dilemma for Bruce Wayne to go through.
Yeah,
You know, he stops being Batman, but he doesn't move on. He just waits for things to get bad again. He wants an excuse for things to be bad so he
yeah,
can live out his only purpose.
yes, exactly, yeah.
I'm sure there's a reference to Killer Croc here with the whole sewer thing. I think someone says maybe there's crocodiles in the sewers, something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. All, all you need is someone to come along with one hand and pretend, and pretend it's yeah. Did you see this in the cinema or?
No, I didn't get into Batman until the year
Ah,
after, really, 2013. Yeah.
okay.
To be honest, I did pretty well for myself because I checked out the quadrilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy, and I even bought Volume 1 of Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, nice. So you got proper hardcore into it, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because I was in year 10, I think.
Mm.
You know, had quite a long summer, so I thought, why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Yeah, 2013. That's when I started to get back into film again because, yeah, past couple of years I really didn't
Mm.
because people tell you you can't. People tell you in high school it's nerdy or uncool to like stuff.
Oh yeah, that's the thing, right? It's just that it's you have to kind of hide yourself, right? Um,
Exactly, you can't enjoy anything. You've got to hate everything and chase after girls 24/7.
apparently, yeah. Which I guess that's why I've always been attracted to superhero stories because it someone hiding
Hmm.
a double life, you know. Um,
Oh yeah.
it's kind of it's always relevant, even in something as mundane as like a school or work environment, even.
And there is Burn Gorman, aka Owen Harper.
Yes, good old Burn Gorman. He's one of those actors. He pops up in a lot of things, and they never seem to have any relation to each other. Like he's in bloody Johnny English, and stuff
Oh,
like that.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he's in the second one. Um, it's just like he just pops up in all sorts of things.
I mean, his character on Game of Thrones became a meme because he says, I was a fucking legend. And people keep saying that about him.
I always think this blonde lady is discount Jennifer Lawrence. It's Pineland Jennifer Lawrence.
And interestingly enough, Burn Gorman is the only actor from Torchwood, basically the main cast, and who didn't get the chance to appear in Doctor Who.
That's very true. Yeah, yeah. I never thought about that
Yeah,
before.
because obviously in Aliens of London, Tosh was the Doctor, but
Yeah.
they did answer that plot hole, I think, in Exit Wounds, where they mentioned that Owen was hungover, so Tosh had to fill in for him.
Yeah, they kind of retcon it, don't they? They retcon it so it is
Yeah,
meant because I don't think it was
because
meant to be the same character at first, was it? And then they just thought, hey,
yeah.
why don't we make it the same character?
Hmm. Yeah, I love this whole double thing she does where she pretends to be the scared victim,
Yeah, she's
but can be
really good.
the Ice Queen as well.
Yeah, really
Hmm.
good. And that just change in her face is great.
Hmm. I mean, I did read the story about critics getting death threats from people on Rotten
Oh,
Tomatoes because
yeah.
because some people gave it a negative review. Like, oh, come on.
It might have been one of the first examples of that, actually. Um,
I think it was, yeah.
uh,
Heck, heck, this film I think was in IMDb's top 500 films before it even came out.
yeah, it was. I remember that actually because around this time was kind of the time I started getting really involved with I guess the internet and like comic book culture on the internet. And yeah, I vividly remember that being a thing, and it's just like Jesus Christ, it's probably the first
Yeah, that's
example
the
of
weird thing about yeah, it's the weird thing about Rotten Tomatoes as a company. I mean, it's literally there just to show a collection of reviews, and that number represents
yeah.
how many gave it a positive review. And some people take it as the holy grail of film criticism, and it's
Oh
not
yeah.
really.
I mean, it's an aggregate. It's not people. I think people think that Rotten Tomatoes is a review site in and of itself where it assigns percentages to each films. Each film. I don't think they
Yeah.
understand that it's a collection of reviews. Um,
Hmm. Yeah, that's the. I mean, going back to DC and Rotten Tomatoes, it only seems to be their holy grail when it matches their opinion.
yeah,
Wonder Woman is a great film. Rotten Tomatoes says so. Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman get what 25%.
yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes is the scum of the earth.
Well, this is it. This happened recently with the Snyder Cut as well, because as much as I liked the Snyder Cut and I was happy to see it successful, but
Yeah.
there were so many people who were going, look, because it's got like a 75, I think, on Rotten Tomatoes, and everyone was like, look at comparison to the theatrical cut, look how much this is winning, we've won, and I was just like, sort of, well, 3 years ago, you were like sending death threats to Rotten Tomatoes and saying it was the scum of the earth because it gave,
Yep.
it gave some of the DCU films a bad score. So it's like, what changed?
Exactly. I mean, it's basically saying critics are biased against DC until they're not.
Yeah, exactly.
He had to, Tom Hardy. He had to wear platform shoes, didn't he? Because he's only what 5'10",
Yeah,
I think.
he did. Yeah.
I think he's my height basically. Yeah, and Christian Bale's, I think he's over 6 foot, so obviously he had to look physically intimidating. So
Mm.
he had to wear platform shoes to look bigger.
I mean, he is massive in this film. Like in terms of he's a massive force to be reckoned with. Like he had to bulk up massively for this, didn't
Yeah, it's to quote Emperor Palpatine, I have followed his career with great interest
he?
because the first thing I saw him in was 2007 in a BBC production of Oliver Twist. He played Bill Sykes, and he was really good in that. Then I saw him as Charles Bronson in Bronson, and yeah, I think since then his basically career really took off.
Yeah, it's interesting because I vaguely remember that Oliver Twist thing from when I was very, very young.
Yeah.
Vaguely.
I mean,
remember.
I saw it as it went out. I was 9 years old.
Yeah, I vaguely remember it airing. Not I have very vague memories of seeing that, but yeah, it's mental that in the same year as this, he was in like a load of crap romantic comedies like This Means War and things like that, and he looks
Okay.
completely different.
Because he has, yeah, because he's kind of known now for playing thugs and
Yeah,
villains and things like that. Yeah. I mean, I found it a shame that the script for Venom was so crap because I felt he could have been a really good Eddie Brock, but he's just given awful dialogue like, "Oh, you mean like a E.T. phone home? On my planet, I'm a loser too."
oh god, yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock, pretty good choice because Eddie Brock is traditionally like he's massive, built like a brick shitter. He's a
Yeah,
massive bodybuilder, with a chip on his shoulder. It's very accurate to what
yeah.
the characters that Tom Hardy usually plays. And, yeah, they just sort of made him a bit of a, bit of a. I mean, did you see the new trailer for Venom? Let There Be Carnage.
Not yet. No, is it Woody Harrelson who's playing Carnage?
Woody Harrison, yeah. And they've
Yeah.
gotten rid of the Ronald McDonald wig that they had him in like the post credit scene of the first one.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be carnage.
There's gonna be
I think
carnage.
that's it.
Yeah, but the trailer begins with him making breakfast with Venom, with Tom Hardy making breakfast with Venom, and obviously he voices Venom, and it's just him singing a song, and it's just like fuck.
To be honest, the ending to Venom when he eats that guy who tries to rob the shop and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Henderson, I have a
Yes.
parasite." It's like the ending to honestly like a Disney Plus superhero sitcom.
Legit. Oh, it's just
Yeah,
so weird.
honestly, make Venom Vision. Yeah. And to be honest, a lot of people. I mean, he does say later on, "I like your other name, Robin."
Yeah,
Honestly, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he looks a bit too old to be a Robin. He looks about doesn't look too young from Bale. So
yeah.
yeah,
Well, yeah. It is
if
odd.
it was made 10 years ago, I could have seen him as Robin, but not now. Not when this film was
Well,
made.
well, they were probably filming this 10 years ago, right? Um,
Oh god,
it is
yeah.
weird. God, that is weird to think about because I remember seeing this in the cinema and it's just like he's 40 now. So when they were filming this, he would have been 30.
Okay.
Because this came out. This was a big year for superhero films. Because
It was,
we
yeah.
had the Avengers, we had the Amazing Spider-Man, we had the Dark Knight Rises, and yeah, pretty big year.
I mean, there was that whole debate, wasn't there? Like, what's better, the Avengers or the Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're both
I
very
mean,
different.
again, it's like comparing. Yeah, it's like comparing night and day.
Yeah,
They're
well,
just really
literally
different
in some
films.
cases. Yeah, they're really different.
So what you're saying is, I'm indestructible. Oh no, no, no! Even a slight breeze could indestructible. You sure you haven't just made thousands of mistakes? It's weird. Even though he's talking to Gordon as Batman and he's got a balaclava on, he doesn't even use his Batman voice. He just
He just
whispers it.
whispers. Yeah, I think it's a bit. That's the voice in this one is at its worst, hands down. Um,
It's just
yeah,
who thought it was a good idea?
it's later. One of the most egregious moments for me is when he's talking to Catwoman, and he turns around, he turns back, and
Yeah.
she's gone, and he goes, "So that's what that feels like."
Like,
It's just,
why are you doing
you're
it?
by
No one's
yourself.
there.
You're by yourself. It's like,
Oh, now I know Kevin Conroy and I can't remember her name, but the actress who voiced Catwoman on Batman the Animated Series, they did a redub of this trailer when it came out, didn't
yeah,
they?
they did.
And it fits really well.
This is very Batman Returns.
It is, yeah, the whole masked ball.
Yeah. I,
And I just noticed Miranda Tate, she's wearing a mask, hiding her true identity as Talia al Ghul.
that is true. Yeah, yeah. Although I must admit, I don't really have a clue what Marion Cotillard's doing here. This is a very weird performance.
Yeah, and honestly, the my biggest problem with the film is the inclusion of Talia because the whole
Yeah,
Talia al Ghul thing, it just comes a bit out of
it
nowhere, and it
does.
just feels like a haphazard attempt to try and connect it to the first film by saying, "I will complete my father's work." And yeah, in that regard, it just makes Bane kind of redundant.
Yeah, I agree, and yeah, I really like her as an actress, but like I said, I just this is a
Yeah,
really weird performance. It's really, especially later on when she dies as well. She literally does the classic.
yeah.
Just,
Eh.
it's so odd. Like, and later on when she's by the fireplace as well, it's something about the voice. I just don't know what she's doing. It's really weird.
Yeah, and the whole, he's not the child of Ra's al Ghul. I am.
I am,
Might as well
yeah,
take off your mask.
exactly, yeah,
uh, and then for some reason, Gotham season 5 thought they were being clever by copying this plot twist.
Oh god, I can't even remember that.
Yeah, honestly, they do the whole no man's land thing.
I remember
But the
that.
ironic
Yeah.
thing about yeah, the ironic thing about Gotham season 5, even though it takes inspiration from No Man's Land, out of all the seasons, it has the most outside influence because constantly supplies are brought in, the army is trying brought in to try and bring things under control, Bane is brought in, and I just thought, why are we concentrating on this when we could
Yeah.
be focusing on? Because in episode 1, Gordon says Mr. Freeze, Firefly, Scarecrow, they all have their own territories. Why can't we see that?
Yeah, that would have been. It would have been really cool. Especially because it's like
Mm,
it's a non-linear thing, isn't it? Um,
yeah,
yeah. And I don't know why they introduced
but
Bane. That was really weird. I remember because the Bane design was fucking odd.
yeah, it was, yeah. Um, to be honest, I think they were trying to cram way too much in what already was a shortened season.
Yeah.
Because if it was up to me, I'd have had have the first 11 episodes be about No Man's Land, mid-season finale, then come back for episode 12. Um, have
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne finally become Batman, and the rest of the season be about his first year as Batman fighting off the villains and things like that. But maybe they didn't have the rights for Batman, so they couldn't use him.
Well, yeah, it was really weird, wasn't it? Because I don't know if they planned it to be a shorter season or whether they had planned a full one and they just got cut short.
I think they got cut short
That was
because
probably
of
what. Yeah,
viewing figures.
that was probably what made it quite messy then.
Mm.
I need to rewatch Gotham. I've not seen the majority of it since it first aired.
Honestly, for me, the more nuttier it gets, the better it is
Mm.
because season 4 is definitely my favorite. I mean, season 4 part 2. It's probably the only time in live action you're going to get villains like Joker, Penguin, Mr. Freeze, Scarecrow,
Mm.
Mad Hatter, Firefly all teaming up.
Oh yeah, and it is fucking mad. That show
Yeah.
when it goes mad, it goes mad. Um, it's
Hmm.
so odd. Because I actually remember in the UK, Gotham got really screwed over, didn't it? Because I think
It did
yeah,
because,
the
yeah,
first two seasons were on Channel 5. Then we had to wait like
they were, yeah.
2 years to get season 3. And Channel 5 just
Hmm.
didn't air it, and season 3 ended up just going straight to Netflix, I think, and DVD. And then
Yeah, that is.
suddenly E4 got the last two seasons. It was really weird, I remember. It was just really odd situation.
You think that was bad? American Dad season 6 was already out on DVD, and then like a couple of months later, BBC Three was saying the new season of American Dad, and it was season 6.
Yeah,
Oh, you mean the one I just bought on DVD?
yeah, it was
It was
odd.
so odd.
It's so odd because I think season 3 of Gotham just never aired in the UK. It got put on Netflix and all that, but it never actually aired on a channel. So I remember seeing on
Yeah,
Twitter
that's
people
annoying.
watching season 4 and being really confused because they just missed out a season. For people who didn't have Netflix and didn't buy the DVD, it was just like you just missed
Mm,
out on an entire season.
yeah, and also the TV series The Tudors, the final season. It aired in America in 2010, but didn't come to like BBC Two until early 2011.
Bloody hell.
Heck, by the time it was a 10 episode series, and by the time episode 8 was airing, the box set was already out
Oh
on,
god.
the season was already out on DVD. I'm like, why would you do
Mm,
that?
I think recently the with a few exceptions, I think the UK has been pretty good at getting shows relatively quick after the US.
Yeah, particularly with shows like Game of Thrones, because it
Yeah.
airs on Sky Atlantic pretty much at the same time it would air in America, but
Mm,
at like For the UK, it'd air like 2 a.m. in the morning, but if you've got Sky Plus, you can just record it and watch it in the morning
Of course,
and just stay off
yeah.
social media.
Yeah, exactly. I remember that. Yeah, because it's they had the good route of doing it. They had the good, but it's still it seems to be DC shows because we're still waiting on season 2 of Harley Quinn.
Oh.
We've still not got it, and they've announced like season 4 in America, and I'm just like, well, can we watch season 2, please? Because there's literally no legal way of watching it now. It's so weird.
I mean, I remember Torchwood Miracle Day. America got the episodes like a few days before the UK audience.
Yeah. That. Oh well, that was the whole thing. It was a partnership with Stars, wasn't it? So they had like
That's it. Yeah,
exclusive rights.
Yeah, one of those rare occasions where something Doctor Who related airs outside the UK first.
Yeah. The only other time that happened was Five Doctors, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think Silver Nemesis episode 1 may have aired in America before the UK.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? It's odd.
I mean, film releases as well. That can be odd because didn't Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that came out in August in America and then October for the UK? Like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah, that was odd. But then on the flip side, it used to be the case that we got Marvel films a week early. I think.
Oh, good.
up until Black Panther, I think Black Panther was the last one to do it because after that they were conscious of spoilers. So
Definitely,
Infinity War and stuff like that, they were all released on the same day around the world. But I remember, like, up until Black Panther, we were getting them a week early, and it was driving American fans mad.
Well, Ant-Man and the Wasp, I remember, didn't that come out in July, but not in the UK until August?
Oh, shit, yeah, that was a whole thing. Yes.
Yeah, it was.
I forgot about that, yeah, because there was this huge uproar. I remember, because we got it so late. There was this huge controversy surrounding it. Wasn't it because of, like, the World Cup or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, they were worried about not making a profit. So, because everyone would be out of the World Cup. I feel like nowadays,
that's just silly.
Nowadays, they'd probably just stick it on Disney Plus if they were that worried about it.
Yeah. Well, cinema, as of recording this, cinemas are open again, and
yes.
I am going back next week to watch Spiral from the Book of Saw.
Oh,
basically
sweet.
Saw 9.
Nice, yeah. At the moment, there's nothing. The only thing that's tempting me is Nomadland, and that's on Disney Plus, and is also all the showings are like really late at night. So at the moment, I'm holding off. But as soon as something comes up that I really want to watch, I'm definitely going. Because I can't wait to go back. It's been so long.
You could always go see Tom and Jerry.
Oh, brilliant.
That's a thing.
I'd love to do that. Trying to raise the memory of seeing Dr. Dolittle with Tom and Jerry.
Oh.
Oh, no. It's a shame, because I know in America they re-released the big comeback film to theatres with Scott Pilgrim. They re-released it for the 10-year anniversary. If they did that in the UK, I'd be so on that. See that in cinemas, but they haven't done it over here.
Well, I do know Odeon, when I was a member, they did back in August when cinemas were kind of limited opening. They did re-release some old films like Jurassic Park, The Empire Strikes Back, Inception.
They did, yeah.
And I even went to see Empire on the big screen because I thought it's a Star Wars film, the original trilogy, one of the original trilogy. I've got to see it on a big screen.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. That's the thing. I wish they did that a bit this time. Just a peppering of some old classics maybe, but I guess that the studios are really trying to push films back into the cinemas now. They're really counting on, like, let's get back to normal. So I guess
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Joe Biden in America announced if you've had both vaccines, you don't need to wear a mask.
I saw that, yeah, and it came out of nowhere, didn't it? It was just a random thing one day.
Yeah, I thought, oh, okay.
It's really odd. Yeah, I don't know when that'll happen for us, but
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of COVID, people say this predicted COVID
Oh.
19 happened because of a bat. The main benefactor is wearing a mask, and the city is put in quarantine.
That is true. Yeah.
And all, and it happens during and it's announced that entertainment and sport is called off.
Oh my god, that is really true. And it's interesting actually watching this. It used to be a case of, oh god, imagine going outside and not knowing if you were safe to be out. And
Yep.
fast forward a couple of years, and yeah.
To be honest, I just from last year, I just remember the memes like on the Cornetto
Oh yeah.
Trilogy Facebook page. That was so funny when you're caught going out twice, and it's that scene from Hot Fuzz where Nicholas Angel catches that guy shoplifting and just says, "Excuse me."
Yeah. To be honest, the tweet probably remember most from the start of the pandemic was someone on Twitter went, just I really miss being shouted at for not wearing goggles in GCSE science. I just remember
Uh,
thinking that sums it up. Now it goes tonight really quickly here, doesn't it?
it does, yeah.
Really quick.
Maybe it's winter.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there's snow later on.
And it is funny with Warner Brothers. I'd argue in the noughties, their big franchise was Harry Potter, but obviously when it ended in 2011, they were pretty quick to get onto a new franchise with with the DCEU because Man of Steel only came out 2 years afterwards.
Yeah, very true. Um, and it still weirds me out that this came a year out. This came out a year after Green Lantern.
Oh God, yeah, because that was supposed to be the kickstart, wasn't
That was
it?
supposed to be the start of the
The
DCEU.
DC.
That was supposed to be
Uh,
the start of their cinematic universe. So we are 46 minutes into the
I have a
film, and now
fit.
Batman is showing up.
Yeah, that's true. And just going back to Green Lantern, um, when a film fails to kick off a franchise, I have a feeling they just go back to Ang Lee's Hulk and be like, just treat that film like Ang Lee's Hulk. It never happened and it never went anywhere.
Essentially,
Because
yeah, yeah,
obviously, yeah, it never went for a franchise. And I think when they were kind of unsure what to do after Superman Returns, they were like, well, what should we do about this film? I think someone said, just treat it like Ang Lee's Hulk. It never happened.
I mean, the thing with Ang Lee's Hulk is you can actually make a case for it being in the MCU if you really want to. Because it doesn't.
That's true because that whole montage at the start during the title sequence,
Yeah,
um, that's pretty much the plot of Ang Lee's Hulk, isn't it?
essentially it is. Yeah, like the details are different, but the following, like the MCU films, never contradict it at all. And Ang Lee's Hulk
Oh,
ends with him going to Brazil, and the Incredible Hulk begins with him in Brazil. So you could
okay.
make a case for it being in the MCU if you really wanted to.
Hmm.
It's not official, but
Well, Kevin Feige has said the only MCU film he regrets is The Incredible Hulk.
yeah, which I think is unfair because
Yeah,
I don't mind it.
yeah, yeah. I don't mind it either, and
It's
I
decent.
do like it, but I would have to call it the bastard child of the MCU.
Yes,
Like,
yeah,
doesn't know what it is, and it's kind of like part of a different family that's brought into this family.
yeah. It is. It's definitely the black sheep, and I think it's more obvious because the main actor was recast. Um,
Yeah,
that it just makes it all the more obvious that it was. Yeah,
checking the iPad to see if he's installed Disney Plus for him. I'm gonna need this in quarantine. I'm starting to think Disney knew the pandemic was coming because,
Oh yeah,
right when it started, the whole all those shows came onto Disney Plus. They knew people were going to be inside.
they timed that so well because Disney Plus came out on like the 12th, I think, of March, 12th of March, maybe or like a week after or something. So it was literally just before the lockdown. So they timed that really well for the UK people because it was just like, we're all going to be stuck inside and the world's falling apart. Here's a brand new streaming service for you. Here's all the Disney films.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Here's all those old cartoons you used to watch as kids.
Yeah, they timed that very well.
Yeah, I really love the what do you call it? The bat plane? Bat wing?
Batwing. I think in this film it's just called the Bat.
Yeah, that's it. Ah, right, okay.
But, yeah, usually
it does look really awesome.
It does look cool.
And it's this is also the only film where Batman operates and works in the daytime.
Yes, which is like, it's insane to me. It's so cool that we get to see him in the day because it's not something you see often. It's not something you see often at all.
We have got an infamous goof coming up here when Batman and Catwoman are on the roof. There's that they're beating up the thugs, and one of them acts like he's getting beaten up, but no one's touching him.
He just literally goes, and falls down.
That poor guy, he really went through it.
Yeah. I'm surprised nobody picked up on that. Because it's such an obvious...
Yeah.
I think it's quite cool that the cat ears come from her goggles just being pushed up on her head. Like, they're not actually cat ears, they're just... It's just the shape of them.
And, I mean, 2012 was a big year for Anne Hathaway, because didn't she win her Oscar for Les Mis?
It was Les Mis, yeah, same year. Yeah. Which is... She was doing very well this year. So she shaved her head for Les Mis, right?
I think she did,
so,
yeah.
Was this before or after filming that? So is she wearing a wig here, or...? I'm not sure.
Could have been before, could have been after, maybe it is a wig,
Yeah.
but who knows, eh?
If it is a wig, it's a good wig.
This does feel like the opening, a cutscene from Arkham City, where you have to fight together.
It does, yeah.
Right, I'm going to look for that guy who gets knocked down.
It's pretty obvious. There
he is. You'll make this look good in post, right? Oh, yeah, we'll CGI someone in.
I'll hammer our bitches. Cracking. The voice sounds great there when he says, "This isn't a car."
Mm-hmm.
Sounds really good there.
But then it's Yeah, but when it's a those are street thugs, they're street killers.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course the infamous where's the killer? Where's the I mean, even I've got a cough doing that. Oh.
They know. They just don't care.
Ugh.
Like I said, it sounded really good there. Did they build a practical version of that?
I think they did, yeah. I assumed it was a practical effect, or is it CGI when it's flying?
Oh, it must be CGI when it's flying across the skies, I guess. I doubt that was a...
Well, I know when I think when it's chasing the truck that's got the bomb in it, when it's like on ground level, it is on another truck that's being hurled around. But obviously, they CGI out the crane
You're
and
right, yeah.
the platform that it's on. And again, Christopher Nolan will only use CGI if it's absolutely necessary.
Yeah. Such a fucking dumb moment. So that's what it feels like. It's a cool line. I like the line, and it's funny, but it's just why is he saying it in the voice?
You're by yourself. I mean, it even annoys me when he's with people who know he's Batman and he still uses that stupid voice.
Well, yeah, because at a point...
They know you're Batman, don't bother.
Well, yeah, at a point, it's just like, are your trousers really tight or something? Or is the suit really tight around the neck? Are you being choked? Or like...
Yeah, what was that? And the recurring theme throughout this film is pain.
Yes.
And it's felt because Bruce Wayne starts off in pain, no cartilage, no girlfriend, no future, and then no butler. Then he's got no money. Then he breaks his back.
Poor Bruce Wayne. No cartilage, no butler, no girlfriend, no parents.
Oh, alone.
He's not alone.
I mean, speaking of Amazing Spider-Man, have you seen that video with Andrew Garfield recently?
Oh, where he's like
My
denying
God.
that he's in the next film.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah, he says, it's like that film, Mafia, and you've got to prove that I'm not it. And what do I have to do to prove that I am not in the next Spider-Man film?
It's when he's going on like, you're the fucking werewolf, you're the werewolf, you're the fucking werewolf. I promise you I'm not the werewolf.
He's not.
My favourite thing about that is that he was like, oh, I have a secret Twitter account where I see all of the Spider-Man takes. I'm just like, oh my God, the thought of Andrew Garfield seeing my tweets about Spider-Man fills me with fear and joy at the same time.
Yeah. He could be any one of our followers.
He could be anyone. That's the thing. He's like, oh yeah, I have this secret account, and I see sometimes people freaking out about Spider-Man. I'm just like, who is he? Who is this? Who is this? Where is this Twitter account?
Yeah, so that's got me thinking for the next Spider-Man film. So he's definitely not in it then?
Unless he's lying. But who knows?
I mean, yeah, it kind of reminds me of the opposite of Day of the Doctor. A few days before that came out, Tom Baker said in an interview, I'm actually in it, but I'm not supposed to tell you that.
I mean,
to be honest, when I did read that before I saw Day of the Doctor, and I thought, I bet he's just having a laugh, messing us about, because that's what he's like. But nope. Thank God I was proved wrong.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? You never know. But I will say, if they have got like Tobey Maguire in it,
Yeah,
if they do a big deal about bringing him back, but they leave out Andrew Garfield, that's gonna be shit. That's a really bad move.
yeah. I mean, here's how they should reveal it. Tom Holland's Spider-Man is sat down and be like, "Hey, I could retire and become the curator of Stark Industries," and you know, I really think you might, and it's Andrew Garfield Spider-Man.
No, what should happen? You hear instead of you really think I might, it should be now dig on this, and then Toby just dances in,
Yeah, oh, that would be perfect.
just slides in in a suit.
I mean, I've seen that video of Tobey Maguire, getting harassed by
Oh
paparazzi. It's
god,
just,
yeah.
ugh.
It's,
Yeah, and I've seen the whole thing because he does ask them politely, "Can you get out of the way, please? I
he
need to
does,
go,
yeah.
or I'll literally run you over." And then when they don't do as he says, of course he's going to get angry.
Yeah, and I mean to be fair, Toby Maguire from from stories, I get the impression that he is a bit of a knob. But like,
Oh,
yeah, like I don't know if you've heard, the scene in Spider-Man 1 where he gets into the fight with Flash.
oh yeah,
Apparently the crew paid off Joe Manganiello, I think is his name. They said, "Look, we will give you
yeah.
$100 if you actually punch him in the face because he is winding us up."
Oh,
And he
okay.
didn't take it because he was scared to like lose his job over like punching the lead
Oh
actor in the face. But he's like, yeah, the crew did not like him. um,
dear.
yeah, there's stories about he's not dodgy or anything. Like there's no stories of like sexual
Yeah,
abuse or anything. But I do get the impression he's a bit of a dick.
you'll get your paparazzi when you fix this damn door.
Bully Maguire. Have you seen that video in they've edited Tobey Maguire into Avengers Endgame, and Captain Marvel comes down,
Yeah.
and he's got the Infinity Gauntlet, and she goes, "Hey Peter Parker, you got something for me?" And he comes through the portal and he goes, "Hey, I had to beat an old lady with a stick to get this."
Oh, that is perfect.
Yeah, and she takes the Infinity Gauntlet away, and he goes, "Thanks, Hot Next." It's so
Well,
good.
I've seen Mr. Dickovich as Thanos go, "Give me
Yes.
rent," and snap his fingers, and then it cuts to Peter Parker saying, "You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door." Click.
I love it.
Yeah.
Because she's French, right, in real life?
She is,
Yeah.
yeah. She was in Inception as Leonardo DiCaprio's character's wife. I can't remember his name.
Hmm. It's interesting. Because it's just the voice. Because I've seen her in other things, and she doesn't sound like this. It's weird. I don't know what voice she's doing.
Yeah, and I think out of all the three films, this has the least amount of screen time for Batman, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's barely in it.
That's true, yeah.
Oh, that was the cameo from the senator guy again. One of the board
Yeah.
members.
I think I just spotted him.
Yeah. And I always forget Ben Mendelsohn's in this.
Oh, who does he play?
He's the guy who gets I don't know the character's name. He's the guy from Rogue One. Krennic.
Oh,
Yeah, he's the guy that gets killed by Bane in a minute.
oh, John Daggett.
Daggett,
The,
that's
the,
his
the
name.
character.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's him.
yeah, he's Krennic in Rogue One and many other things he's been in.
I love how we don't see him kill him. He just
Mm.
It's even more scary when he just puts his hand on his shoulder and saying, "Do you feel in charge?" That is so chilling.
It's really good, yeah. Although unfortunately, I think someone made a joke a few years ago that it sounds like he's being tickled to death, and I can't watch the scene the same way. Um, but it is very threatening
In charge, tickle, tickle.
because it's like the scream when he leaves the room. He's like, ah! Ah! Ah!
It's a
He's being
great
tickled.
scream. Yeah, because despite being physically strong, like him breaking someone's neck or suffocating them with his leg, like
Mm.
he just does it with so little effort, and it's so
Yeah,
scary.
it is. Yeah, I think it's whenever I watch this, it's always this kind of section here that just kind of drags a bit for me. Um,
Yeah, it's.
mm,
I think he does drag a bit up until the first Batman and Bane fight, but it
yeah,
really picks up when we get there.
for sure, for sure. I think it's basically like because I just don't think Marion Cotillard's very good in this. We have scenes with her like I'm just not interested when we have scenes with her.
And also, I mean, we did say last time that the Batman films get longer by 12 minutes. I
They do,
noticed that
yeah.
Christopher Nolan's films in general started to get longer, like after um, The Dark Knight,
Mm.
because by the time we get to Interstellar, which is his next film, it's nearly 3 hours. And when I heard about Dunkirk, I thought, oh God, is this going to be 3.5 hours? But no, it's his
Yes.
shortest film by being about 105
Yeah,
minutes.
when I went to see Dunkirk, I remember thinking, "Oh God, we better buckle up. This is going to be really long." But yeah, it's really short, isn't it? It's in and out.
I mean, do cinemas not like it when they have really long films because they can't obviously make space in the day for other films?
It's more. I think it's more that studios want certain screenings in a day so that they can get as much
Make
money as
more money.
possible. You know, if a film's obviously if a film's 3 hours long, you can fit less screenings into a day compared to a 2 hour film. So
It's why there's no way if Zack Snyder finished his own version of Justice League, they'd have let him release a
oh
four
no,
hour cut of it.
definitely not. No, for sure, because that just no one would have gone to. The hardcore fans would have, but you can't imagine a family taking their kids to see a Justice League film that's 4 hours.
Exactly. That photo of Rachel, it looks so weird. It's like a publicity shot for the for the character's Wikipedia
Yeah,
page.
well, it's that classic thing where it looks like a photo, almost like a screenshot of the middle of a
Yeah.
scene, and it's like, who was there? Who
Yeah.
was there taking that photo?
Yeah, this is so odd. They end up sleeping together?
Yeah,
What?
this is what I mean. This whole section of the film completely loses me because I'm just like it's just I find it this just drags on.
I suppose doesn't he see a mark on her back or something, which obviously references her being in the pit.
Yeah,
Could be.
like a scar.
I'll admit that's decent foreshadowing. And also, um, later on, Bane does basically admit that he never escaped the pit because when he says, "Oh, you think darkness is your ally, but you merely adopted the dark. I was born in it."
Molded by it. Yeah, no, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. I just think this comes out that they've only shared a couple of scenes together, and now they're, you know, sleeping together, and it's just sort of like, this has come out of nowhere a bit.
Reminds me of the love hammock scene in Superman 2. You
Oh
just
yeah.
see Superman and Lois in bed together. I'm like, he's literally made of steel. Wasn't that painful?
That's something that changes depending on the cut you're watching, isn't it? Because in one of the cuts
Yeah.
it's after he becomes human, and in the other one it's beforehand. So it's
Okay.
just like, which is yeah, this could be quite painful. Especially because I think I've heard a story. I think it was Oliver Harper's commentary to it years ago. And he said that the producers were really uncomfortable with showing Superman in bed with her because they didn't want to imply that when
Okay.
he that they didn't want to imply that when he climaxed, he wouldn't shoot her across the
Oh.
room because of like
Oh,
it would like laser beams coming out or something because of the
oh,
sheer
that was.
force of it.
Oh God! Oh my
That's the
God!
thing that like apparently the Soul Kinds were really iffy on.
Oh, that's just so weird. Oh.
It's just like of all the things to be concerned about.
Yeah, the Soul Kinds just made. Yeah, the Soul Kinds. They made so many weird decisions. Like, I don't know if you've heard about the Soul Kind clause, because it happened on the Musketeer films in 1973 and 74. When they made them, they were under the impression, the cast and crew were under the impression that they were making a 4-hour epic, but the Soul Kinds decided pretty much at the last minute, no one wants to sit through a 4-hour film. Let's split it at the 2-hour mark and make
Yeah,
two different films. And it caused a huge uproar because they pretty much realised, well, wait a minute, we've only been paid for one film. We should be paid for two films here.
of course. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. They never made films on the cheap.
And the thing is, yeah, and the thing is, I don't think the cast and crew were even aware when until like the first film ended because the Three Musketeers ends and it shows like a trailer for the Four Musketeers at the end, and basically it says the Three Musketeers will return in the Four Musketeers, and I think the entire cast was just like, wait, what?
Yeah, that's the thing that they made many expensive and odd decisions with their films because they never did them on the
They
cheap.
did,
And
yeah.
fair play, you can't ever say that a Soul Kind film is cheap.
Exactly,
um,
yeah. Spared no expense.
yes, yeah. This fight is incredible.
It is great,
No
yeah. There's no
music.
music as well.
No, yeah, it's just fantastic.
And yeah, it feels like it hurts.
It does. You really feel it. And like the fact that his suit is soaking wet as well. I don't know why it just looks so.
Yeah.
It looks so fragile when it's wet. It sounds so weird to point out. It just looks like it's about to break in two.
And of course, there's a reference to the comics. Bane breaks his back,
Yeah,
which he famously did.
Mm.
Uh,
in Nightfall.
like that's it, yeah. And Bane didn't appear in the comics until the early '90s, wasn't it?
Yeah, late '80s, early '90s villain. In many
Yeah, so it's
ways.
amazing that when
Yeah, go on.
when this came out, he was only what 20 years old, and
Yeah,
Batman was what 65, 64, something like that.
yeah. In many ways, he is the Venom of Batman because Venom only appeared in the
Yeah.
late '80s, early '90s in the Spider-Man comics. So, and now he's obviously one of the most popular villains. So in many ways, it's kind of the same thing with Bane.
Yeah, but Yeah, it's amazing how he quickly did jump into Batman the Animated Series
Mm.
because he's in a season 2 episode called Bane, and that was what 94, 95. So
Yes. Yeah, so it's quite quickly. Well, it's only that people. I think people always forget that the animated series invented Harley Quinn.
yeah, a lot of people, and Mr. Freeze's revised origin of Nora Freeze.
Yeah, people forget how influential that is.
Yeah, and apparently I've looked this up. Getting kneed in the spine or kicked does hurt.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Um, I guess it's one of those points on the body that's like almost like a pressure point.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
fragile. Yeah. With lines like that and the way he says it, it's almost like he's going to do a stand up.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I was
Oh,
wondering what would
yes.
break first. Your spirit or your body? Just put in a laugh track after that.
That's the thing. Whoever did the voice in the Harley Quinn cartoon is doing a kind of Tom Hardy inspired thing. So he always talks like this. Because obviously that show's a comedy. So like every time they meet Bane, he's just always very jovial and talking like that, which is
Well,
it's so funny.
well, even Gotham sounds like this one because it's
Yeah.
like bird, bird. I can remember some people saying, "Oh, this is a bad Bane because he doesn't have the Venom thing." Like,
Well, yeah. It's still he's got the same traits as Bane. It's,
at least he's not Batman and Robin Bane.
oh yeah, exactly. Bane.
Bomb, monkey.
Monkey dog.
I mean, you could have called that Bane Cookie Monster, and it would have been roughly the same.
Cookie Monster in the Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, Cookie. Oh, he was going to ask you to snow monster ball, but no, forget it.
Yes, the fire rises.
With cookies.
Cookies. You merely adopted the dark. I was molded by it.
It amazes me that they put her in with the male prisoners. Like,
Yeah.
surely that's very, very
In
dangerous.
a higher rated film, that could lead to a pretty horrific scene.
Yep.
We'll put it that way.
I mean, have you seen Alien 3?
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. I gotta re-educate some of the brothers.
Yeah, I do like this prison that escape is so clear, but no one can get it.
Yes. Yes, exactly. It's
Gives people false hope.
yeah, so near but so far.
And I'll say this about the climax to this film where they're getting rid of the bomb. It's literally that sequence from Batman 66, where he's trying to throw the bomb somewhere safe that doesn't hurt children, ducks, or
Sure.
a garden or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's it.
And then it ends with him saying, "Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb."
Some days you just can't get rid of a man.
And third films in a trilogy, they tend to have a super twist that reveals some kind of family dilemma.
Yeah.
Like Return of the Jedi, Darth Vader is Luke's father, and here we've got Talia al Ghul is
Yeah.
Ra's al Ghul's daughter,
Yeah.
who's come back for revenge. Just yeah, to quote Scream 3,
Oh,
there's always a family twist. The past will come back to bite you in the arse.
God. Fucking hell, Scream 3. That's a film.
Yeah,
That's a film and a half.
this this bit always bothered me because when she flips over that guy's hands, like she flips over them, they don't twist, but you still hear bones cracking.
Yeah, what actually, yeah. I was
Like his hands are still when she flips over them, so I don't know what hurt about that.
wouldn't surprise me if that was like a censorship thing,
Yeah.
because it's an odd edit. It just doesn't. It just looks odd.
Yeah, this is a criticism as well, that he just says, put every cop in the sewers, and then obviously they get trapped. Yeah. It's not bothered me too much because he's obviously sick of all these villains hiding everywhere, so he just wants them over and done with.
Yes, yeah. It doesn't. It doesn't bother me too much. It's a plot contrivance that's there to get to facilitate Bane being able to do the things he does, but it doesn't bother me too much.
Yeah.
This bit always reminds me of Iron Man.
Oh, yeah. They're both held in captivity.
Yeah. They befriend.
When he comes back, Bane should have said, Bruce Wayne managed to build this in a cave with a box of scraps. And it amazes me for Spider-Man Far From Home, they got that guy back who Jeff Bridges is yelling at. Yeah.
They made him a plot point. They made
know.
it a plot point. Christ. Should have gone all the way.
Well, haven't they? Didn't they say the kid that Iron Man saved in Iron Man 2? That's Peter Parker.
Yes, they retconned it so that it's supposed to be Peter Parker. Which, to be honest, I don't mind that. That's all right.
Heck, it didn't. Heck, I'm not surprised they haven't come out and said, "Oh, the kid in Iron Man 3 that helped Tony, that was really Peter Parker."
Oh god, yeah. Yeah.
But don't think they do that because both Peter Parker and that kid are at Tony Stark's funeral.
Yes, yeah, which I loved in Endgame. I saw that kid and I was just like, it's the kid from Iron Man 3. They've gone to the effort to bring back the kid from Iron Man 3.
Yeah, I do like that because when I first saw it, I thought, "Oh wait, who's that?" Then I looked it up, and yeah, that is great because I'd have thought they wouldn't have referenced anything after basically Phase 2.
Yeah. hell, I think even if you go on like the Wikipedia page for like Spider-Man in film or like Spider-Man adaptations, it is listed as Peter Parker appears in Iron Man 2, played by this actor, and it's just
Wonder where that kid is now. Who was
yeah,
isn't he like in a? He's like in an Iron Man mask. One of those drones comes up to him. He puts his hand
yeah,
up, and then it gets destroyed. And he thinks he's done it or something
yes,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, because Iron Man comes and saves him, and he's like, "Good work, kid," and just flies away, which is a really nice moment. It's a really nice moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
and hey, you know, I don't if it's Peter Parker, I don't mind. It is what it is.
I mean, it amazes me with in between the Avengers and Avengers: Age of Ultron, the Amazing Spider-Man franchise literally came and went
Oh my god, you're right.
because the Avengers came out April May time, something like that, 2012,
Yes.
and then first Amazing Spider-Man came out July
Oh
2012,
god.
and then by the time Avengers: Age of Ultron came out 3 years later, roughly, uh, they had cancelled the Amazing Spider-Man 2 sequels, and
Oh wow.
I think they were looking for a new Spider-Man.
Yeah, was Holland already announced, or was that just after?
I think it was after Age of
Yeah, I
Ultron.
think you're right.
Yeah, I can remember so many people getting their hopes up for Age of Ultron, thinking, "Ooh, are we gonna get a Spider-Man post-credits scene?" But no, it was literally just Thanos going, "Fine,
I'll do it
myself."
myself. Yeah, what?
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, what were you guys expecting?
Mm. I mean, we got a
They probably
we got a reference to him in Ant-Man, didn't we?
we did,
Yeah.
yeah.
We got a guy who jumps. We got a guy who swings. We got a guy who climbs up the walls.
I think it would have been a cool Easter egg if this football game we're about to see, it's Gotham versus Metropolis.
That would have been really cool. Yes, that would have been really nice.
Because in Superman Returns, I think they mention Gotham uh, on a news station or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's a little Easter egg. Yeah.
And in Batman Forever, we get the line, "The circus will be halfway to Metropolis by now."
We do. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, very. I like those little references. And then in the best of all, in Batman and Robin, this is why Superman works alone.
The best
The best
reference.
of them all.
But yeah, in a world like this, what they've created, you can't really imagine a Superman or
No.
a god who talks to
Yeah.
fish
No.
or a fierce female warrior from another planet.
Yeah. No. It makes sense. This scene is incredible. Like,
I do love it. The
yeah.
national anthem, the cops walking into a trap, it's brilliant.
Mm.
And then they kind of mean spiritedly kill off the mayor.
They do. Yeah. Mayor Guy liner from from the second one. Yeah. No. It's such an incredible scene. Like the fact that it's all in IMAX. Bane strolling on. Oh, it's so good.
Oh god, have you seen the Sideshow Bob edit of this?
No.
Yeah, you know the episode Sideshow Bob's Last Gleaming where he steals a nuclear bomb
Yeah.
and pretty much says to the whole of Springfield, "Oh, by the way, I've stolen a nuclear weapon. If my demands are not met within 2 hours, I will detonate it." It's basically Bane saying, "Wouldn't our lives be so much better without television? Oh, one more thing, I've stolen a nuclear weapon. If my demands are not met, I will detonate it." By the way, I'm aware of the irony of appearing on TV in order to cry it, so don't bother pointing that out. And then he drops the mic and walks
Oh
away.
god.
I know someone did a Star Wars reference with this. It's Darth Vader saying, identify yourself to the world. My name is Galen Erso, and what is this? It is a space station that can destroy an entire planet. And who knows a weakness to such a device? Me. Thank you, good Erso. And then kills him. This footballer must have been like, did I still win? Does this still count as a goal?
I mean, yeah. I mean, he made it. Because I remember.
That still counts as one.
Because I remember that was it was either the teaser trailer to this was just that. It just began with the national anthem, the boys singing it, and you were just hearing you were just seeing like clips from the film, and that was the whole trailer, and it just ended with the football pitch being blown up and like the ground caving in, and that was the start of the trailer. I remember seeing that in the cinema before this came out and just being like, oh shit. It just looked so epic.
And the bridges being destroyed, obviously a reference
Yeah.
to No Man's Land, and they do that again in Gotham.
Yes, they do.
Gotham from the exterior does look a lot like Patton.
Yeah, yeah. I will say as well, anyone who is looking to upgrade to 4K, this film is a pretty good demo disc because all of the IMAX sequences, especially in this section of film, look amazing. They look incredible.
Oh, okay.
They look so good, especially because
Yeah, I've been reluctant to upgrade to 4K because from what I've heard, there's not that much difference from Blu-ray, and also it's like the cheapest one is like £20
yeah,
a 4K, and I'm like, oh, I'm not paying that much.
yeah. No, I get you. Like some films, I mean, a lot of films are upscales. Like all the Marvel films are just upscaled to 4K, so there's really no difference. So I haven't bothered upgrading those, but like things like this with the IMAX footage, pretty much anything with IMAX in is pretty big leap. But like you said, a lot of films aren't.
Yeah, because I basically watched Oliver Harper's 4K collection videos, and he does go into detail saying not a true 4K remaster, just an upscale.
Yeah, that's why I've saved my money on stuff like on like the Marvel films and stuff, because there's no point me buying those again, because there'll just be just be there's no point in upgrading. I've got the Blu-rays, but yeah, like this for example looks fantastic. But I know what you mean about the price. It's that thing like when Blu-ray first came out, the price for that was insane as well.
That's true, yeah. And when you go into CEX now, some films are as cheap as 50p.
Yes, they are.
Including the cheapest one I've seen is Spider-Man 3, 50p.
Yes, I was in CEX today, and they had a Blu-ray copy of that for 50p.
And yeah, I mean, if you look at 4K films, like I think all the Harry Potter films, all 8 films to be on 4K, it's like £200.
Oh yeah,
like what?
It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. I'm dreading when they inevitably announce a James Bond 4K set. Because can you imagine how expensive?
It'll be 1,000. I mean, if 8 films are what, £200, 25 is going to be what, 1,000?
Yeah, they did a 4K of the Infinity Saga, the MCU, and that was I think 450. Which
what?
is pretty nuts. It's pretty insane.
Yeah, it is
Ah,
kind of. I mean, like I said, some films are more worth it than others. Like it, generally, older films look better um, than newer films.
yeah. In fact, I've heard for when they've done Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, particularly extended cuts, they haven't included the appendices, so the bonus
No,
features,
they haven't.
which are all on the Blu-rays.
Yes. And
Yeah,
do you know the funny
and
thing about that is they're doing a so they brought out the 4Ks in December of both trilogies. They're doing a re-release in a couple of months with all of the extras. So you're gonna have to buy it again if you want all the extras.
oh,
Money grabbing, money
oh,
grabbing,
that's just daft.
money
Yeah,
grabbing.
that is. I mean, have they released both the theatrical and the extended
Yes,
cuts?
my dad got the both sets because he's more of a fan of them than I am, and the sets include both
Uh,
versions in one set, which is good because the Blu-rays don't have that. The
uh,
Blu-rays you have to buy two separate sets, right? If you want them both.
that is
Yeah,
true.
the
Yeah.
4K has them both in one set, which is I was happy they did that because it's a lot more efficient.
I mean, to be fair, I always stick to the extended
Mm.
cuts anyway. I just find it a bit redundant to watch a copy that has less footage in
Yeah,
it.
fair enough.
Yeah, the sequence coming up here where Bane is about to storm Blackgate, it's pretty much based on the storming of the Bastille from the French Revolution, where I think the revolutionaries pretty much freed all the political prisoners that were there.
Yeah, yeah, yes, yeah, yeah.
I'm surprised these guys don't have a guillotine.
Surprised William Hartnell doesn't turn up in a French Revolution outfit.
Yeah, you need James Gordon or Batman wearing that big frilly hat that he wears in that story. In fact, yeah, a lot of people have compared Bane to Maximilian Robespierre. Pretty much became, I think,
Yeah,
um, dictator or ruler of Paris and France.
yeah, yeah.
Pretty much decided to anyone who wasn't for him, he cut their heads off. And he tears it, and he splits it literally in half, like Two Face.
Yes, I've never picked up on that before.
Yep.
You shaved my boy.
Again, sounds like a stand-up routine. You
Yeah.
saved my boy. Let me tell you the truth about Harvey Dent. I even love how he shakes his head in disappointment. He's like, oh dear.
These liars.
Oh, the cat! Yeah, I've heard some people criticize this by saying, well, why are they celebrating? They've literally got a bomb over their
Yeah.
heads. But the thing is, they don't know that it's on a timer. They don't know it's going to count down and boom. They just think that if anyone interferes from the outside world, then the bomb will get detonated. So yeah, I could honestly see society do this if someone gave them the opportunity. And it's also this sequence where people question, well, if he's freeing all the prisoners that were put there under Harvey Dent's act, where's the Joker?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's quite. I'm shocked they never mention it because it is such a kind of. Everyone's asking that question when they see this.
I mean, I think there's an explanation in the novelization where they say he's not in Blackgate prison, he's in Arkham Asylum.
Yes.
And he's the only resident there. Yeah, and they kind of offer a... They kind of leave it ambiguous, like, did he escape? Did he join Bane's revolution? No one knows. Is he still locked up? Like, they're not giving us answers.
Yeah, there's a lot of sort of missing information here.
Yeah, I do like how it's not just Bane's cronies that are doing this, it's everyday people. Like, if you look closely, you can see a bellhop throwing out basically a rich person into the streets.
Yeah, you can, yeah. Which is pretty horrific.
Yeah. I mean, Joker got controversy for saying that, oh, it's going to cause a class revolution. Oh, it's going to inspire people to rebel against authority. I'm surprised this didn't get controversy.
Yeah.
Oh, my Gotham great again.
Yeah.
The way they get him to stand in the rope and Bale's performance, it just feels really painful.
Yeah, it's kind of... Oh, it's nuts.
If it was Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker, just be like, my back, my back. If he was Batman, he'd be shouting, I'm back! I'm back!
The first time you saw this, did you think that the kid looked a bit sort of feminine? Did you kind of pick up on that?
No. Really, no. I just thought it was a boy.
Yeah.
But fair enough.
Yeah, it's quite clever because you can't really tell.
Yeah, definitely.
But also when they pull the reveal, it's like, oh, of course, like.
I'm sorry, that just looked a bit comical. That little kid going,
Yeah. Oh god, yeah, you really looks like he's
yeah. And
in agony.
when he like pops his vertebrae back in, it's just
God,
like,
yeah.
oh.
Oh, it's hard to watch.
Wonder, is that the best cure for a broken back?
Yeah.
Stand in a rope until you stand up. But yeah, one thing I didn't notice, he's got more of a beard there, so just very quickly they establish he's probably been there for what, a few days, a
Yeah, in a
week?
very short cut. Yeah. It's cool they got Liam Neeson back as well
Yeah, definitely.
for a little cameo. And I like that it comes full circle. It does feel like a natural finale to it.
It does, yeah. Because you've got the legacy of Harvey Dent being felt, but also the revenge of the League of Shadows, which was in the first film.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd argue it is a good way to bring this whole thing full circle. You just wonder what would have happened if Heath Ledger was still alive. Would he have played a
Yeah.
Would he have played a major part in this if they decided to go with a different villain,
It's
or
hard
would they
to
have kept
say.
him as the main villain? Who
It
knows?
really is difficult to say.
Yeah, because as I mentioned last time, the third film would have potentially been about the Joker's trial and
Yes.
Two-Face taking over the city. But the thing is, if they killed off Two-Face in the film, if that was before Heath Ledger had died, then yeah, maybe they weren't planning to use Two-Face at all for the next film.
Yeah. Yeah. I would have liked to have seen Anne Hathaway in films that didn't have such big stakes. Like, it would, yeah, because, like, for example, like, I'm looking forward to seeing Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman in The Batman, because it looks quite small scale, and they've been some pictures of her
Yeah.
recently, and she looks really cool. So, yeah, would have been cool to see Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, it's amazing when the Batman comes out, this will be 10 years old. I'm like,
Jesus, don't tell me that, like, because that also means it'll be 10 years since the Avengers and the Amazing Spider-Man, which is
oh
equally
wow,
insane to me, because
it is.
because I saw all of these films in the cinema, and it's just like, holy shit, I have really vivid memories of seeing each one, and now it's 10 years ago. It's so nuts to me.
I don't want to grow old. I just want to stay in. Can't we just stay in a limbo timeline like on The
Yeah.
Simpsons?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Things come out, but it stays the same year. Well, not
Well,
2020.
no, yeah. Let's get the pandemic over, and then we'll freeze it.
Yeah. I do like the chant as well. Was it Deshe Bach?
I have no idea. It sounds cool though, because again, the trailers for this had that massively, like, it was just this chant
They
getting
did,
louder
yeah.
and louder and louder.
Yeah, the child there does look a bit like a girl.
Yes, yeah. Oh, like, the changing aspect ratio, I think, is a bit jarring here, because it literally goes from like
Oh yeah,
it's so like literally a cut of her climbing up the wall in IMAX, to then she's up the wall, and it's 35mm, and then back to IMAX, and then back to. How Dunkirk had like 3 different aspect ratios, didn't it? because it was shot on like
I think
three
it
different
did,
film
yeah.
stocks, so it's just nuts.
I do regret not seeing that in IMAX. I only saw it on a regular screen.
I can't remember if I did or not. I think I did. I can't remember.
Yeah, I mean the only film I've seen in IMAX is The Hobbit: Battle of the Five Armies,
Yeah.
which I did see in 3D as well,
Yeah.
and I do think it was worth it.
Yeah, IMAX is worth it for films that were either shot with IMAX in
Okay.
mind or just are massive.
Yeah, I mean I'd argue IMAX is used sparingly. Like it's not tacked on like a gimmick like 3D
Yeah,
is.
exactly. Well, 3D's died a death, isn't it? 3D has had its
Yeah,
little period of fun, and now it's gone
yeah,
again.
like every action film or every animated film had to be in 3D.
Yeah, even sometimes when it was just completely like not suitable at all, and they'd have to do really bad post conversions and things like that, and like they've stopped selling like
I mean, yeah,
3D TVs don't exist anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So are they kind of a rare thing now?
I'm sure you can still find
Out
them.
of production.
They're out of production. Yeah, I'm sure you can probably still
I
find
see.
them for like reasonable prices. I don't think they're rare, but you certainly won't find them at Curry's, for example.
Yeah, because I mean, I do owe the Hobbit films I've got, the extended cut. They do have the Blu-ray 3D
Oh,
cut,
interesting.
versions as well. Yeah, but yeah, obviously it comes with a Blu-ray version. Yeah, because I was a bit reluctant to get them because I thought, well, I'm not really paying for the Blu-ray 3D because I don't plan to get a
Yeah.
3D player or a 3D TV. But it was the only way I could get the extended edition on Blu-ray.
Yeah, which is fair enough. I think before my family's TV downstairs, the one we had before this one was 3D, and it was good
Okay.
for certain films, but other films it was just sort of like, well, why am I going to bother syncing the glasses to the TV and faffing about with the glasses and faffing about with the picture to get it
Yeah.
into 3D, because when it doesn't actually look much different, you know. Like it's like for example the 2009 A Christmas Carol, that was great in 3D because
Yeah.
you had like the snow coming out, and it was obviously it was designed for 3D in mind. But you just had like pretty much any Marvel film, for example. Just there was no point watching the 3D disc because it was just like I don't want to faff about. I really just don't
Yeah,
want to
because
faff around.
I heard the Asgard scenes in the first Thor film were kind of a nightmare in 3D because it was just so much clash
Oh
of
yeah.
color and brightness that just gave people headaches.
Yeah, well the problem is as well there's a lot of cinemas especially never upped the brightness to compensate because obviously you put in them 3D glasses and the film becomes darker. So the cinemas should have put the brightness on the screen up to compensate, but half of them never did. So the films just always looked really muddy and dark. I think that
Yeah, the way he crushes his windpipe here basically with his own leg.
yeah, it's
Like that's
it is
horrific.
pretty horrific. It lingers on it. Wow, it really lingers on it. My bloody body's being hung as well. I'm surprised this got a 12.
Yeah, I'm surprised as well. Well, I mean, the X-Men for particularly like the First Class trilogy,
Yeah,
they get away with being a 12 even though they have an F-bomb in nearly every one of them. Like,
yeah.
go fuck yourself or fuck off or who the fuck are you?
They get away with a lot actually. Have you seen Dark Phoenix or?
I have, and it's
Yeah,
oh god, my cousin shared a meme about Dark Phoenix. It's you know where Lisa has to dress up as a state and she says, I'm not a state, I'm a monster. Someone edited the Dark Phoenix poster onto it saying, I'm not an X-Men movie, I'm a monster.
God. Well, the F bomb in that is hilarious, isn't it? Because it's delivered by Cyclops, and it's supposed to be really like badass and threatening, and it just comes across as a kid. He's like, "I will fucking kill you," and it's just like, oh, Christ.
It's so weird.
What have you seen? New Mutants.
No, I haven't, because when was that supposed to come out? It was like 2018,
2018,
2017?
2018, and then they
Kept getting
ordered
pushed.
reshoots, which apparently never happened. They were planned to happen, and the money was spent on them to happen, but they never did. So it's for some reason, and then it just kept getting pushed back and pushed back. Then the pandemic happened, so it got pushed back again, and
Yeah.
eventually, I think it just got shoved on Sky Cinema. I think.
Oh, yeah, I heard
Yeah.
that. I'm surprised Maisie Williams didn't tweet, "Oh yeah, I was in
Yeah.
that."
Well, she did an interview, didn't she? She was like, "Fuck knows when that's coming out," because they filmed that in like 2016,
She did,
2017. And I will say, I didn't mind it. I thought it was alright. It was a bit of fun. It was
Yeah.
okay. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
I mean, that's the thing about the X-Men films. Days of Future Past and Logan, they felt like
Yeah.
the perfect ending for the franchise and also Wolverine. But that's the problem. They just kept going and going. It's like
Yeah.
when you go to see a piece of theatre, it ends, you give your applause, and then Dark Phoenix and Apocalypse
Yeah.
and the rest of them are like it's like watching the ushers go. The exit's over there.
Yeah.
Take your time going
Yeah.
out.
Exactly. Yeah. Like Days of Future Past feels like the ending. Logan feels like the epilogue, and the Deadpool films feel like the nice spin-offs. I think the Deadpool films were their nice
They do,
own thing,
yeah.
and they can poke fun at the films and stuff. But yeah,
Well, yeah. Days of Future Past gives you a perfect happy ending for everyone because everything's tied up nicely. But Logan also gives you the tragic ending
exactly,
of being a mutant.
exactly. Because the thing is, Days of Future Past fixes the timeline and creates this new
It does,
divergent timeline and everything. And then Logan continues on from that. And then Apocalypse comes in and creates even more continuity issues. And Dark Phoenix then does
Yeah.
exactly the same thing. The continuity is just a mess.
Yeah, because in Apocalypse, it's what, 1983. Professor Xavier looks like James McAvoy.
Yeah.
Magneto looks like Michael Fassbender. But in X-Men: The Last Stand, when they were in the 1980s, they look like Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen.
Exactly, yeah. And the thing about Days of Future Past is, yeah, it creates this diverging timeline. So basically, erases the events of in your mind. Ignore the events of the original trilogy and pretend that it was all happy for them. We're going forward into this new timeline. Anything can happen. But then, like within the same two films, it contradicts its own events, and it contradicts events from
That's
First
true,
Class. And it contradicts events from Days of Future Past. It's just like, what the fuck? Why? You made a massive effort to create this new timeline where you could do whatever you want, and you're still messing it up.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad they brought back Cillian Murphy for the Scarecrow.
Very nice, yeah.
And I do like how his clothing is really ragged, like a scarecrow.
And he's got like a beard as well. It's cool. I like it, and it makes sense that Scarecrow would be in here. That's kind of the exact thing that he'd be doing.
Oh god, the comments I see on Scarecrow videos, they just say things like, Cillian Murphy's the most beautiful human being I've ever seen. I can't imagine him being a villain. What a perfect human being. It's just like, wow, you guys really fancy him.
I mean, I think I spoke about it in the Batman Begins commentary. It doesn't look like the same person. He doesn't look like the same person now as he does in this, for example. It looks completely different.
And there is a criticism of this film, which I hear is, how did Bruce Wayne get back into Gotham? And yeah, that's when I do throw up my hands in the air and say, okay, you've got me there. I don't know.
Did he swim?
Like, how?
It doesn't make any sense.
Swim, take a boat, but then again, everything's frozen. But go underground? How?
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense at all. Yeah. But
I mean, unless he could have smuggled his way in on one of those
Yeah.
transport vehicles that comes in and gives them supplies.
yeah, but I don't know. It's one of those things that you just, again, you have to overlook if you're going to enjoy it. It's a huge glaring error, and I'm not excusing the film for it. But if you're going to enjoy any of
Yeah,
this
I do
last half, you have
wonder.
to kind of just put it out of your mind.
I do wonder, did they film anything that would have explained how he got into Gotham, but maybe they cut it at the last minute?
I don't know. I mean, it makes it. If that is the case, it feels weird that they would cut that and not half the shit with Miranda
Yeah.
Tate.
Mhm.
How about me instead? I hear you're looking for man. It's what's she doing? She feels like she's in a much campier film than everyone else.
If she was Catwoman, it wouldn't surprise me if she would say, "You are the
Yeah,
perfect
legit.
hero,
I
Batman."
mean, God, if she's like this in this, imagine what she would have been like in a Joel Schumacher Batman film. Christ.
I mean, I keep forgetting Eartha Kitt was Catwoman in the Adam West TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'll always remember her as Yzma from The Emperor's New
Oh,
Groove.
yeah, of course.
I mean, what Yzma says in The Emperor's New Groove, it's literally the Tory government. It is no concern of mine whether your family has, what was it again? Food? You do think that, obviously Bane didn't expect him to come back, but you do think they would have burnt his bat suit?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Or got rid of it in case anyone did find it and thought, you know what,
Oh,
I'm
Mummy
gonna be the
Batman. Yeah,
Batman.
like one of those copycats from The Dark Knight from the start of that film.
Yeah. I mean, 2012 was a big year in general because I remember we had the Olympics and also the Queen's Jubilee
Oh, yeah.
for 60 years.
Yeah.
Mhm. We got the day off from school for that.
I think we did as well because I know I'm not.
Yeah.
She came to where I am. She came to Hereford, and I got
Oh,
we got the
wow.
day off to go and stand in a queue and cheer as she drove past, which is great. Day off for doing that. I'm quite happy with that. But yeah.
I mean, it honestly amazes me that Prince Philip lasted as long as he did.
Yeah. Well, funnily enough, I was at work when they announced it, and we had I'm in a warehouse, and they have the radio on, and it's fine. We were playing upbeat music, Halfway through this upbeat song,
Yeah.
it's just like, this is a national emergency. Prince Philip has died, whatever. And for the rest of the station, I was listening to Absolute Radio. Holy shit. Jesus Christ, they were playing
Yeah.
Fix You by Coldplay. See You Again by Charlie Puth. Chasing Cars by Snow Patrol. So clearly they've gone, we've got to put on the sad playlist today. We're not going to play the national anthem. We're not going to do any tributes. Just put on some Coldplay. That'll do it.
Morgan Freeman once said that Will Arnett is his favourite Batman from the Lego Movie and Lego Batman.
I mean, good choice. Very good choice.
Yep. I mean, I keep forgetting that Will Arnett voiced that German chef in Ratatouille. I killed a man with this.
Will Arnett, again, he's in so many things, and I'm always taken aback by whenever he pops up. Like, he pops up in so many, like, US comedies as just, like, a guest role.
Yeah, so how does he escape? Does he put it on autopilot, and during that explosion where the Batwing comes through the smoke, is that when he pressed the escape button so it could go over the bay?
I don't know. Well, no, because don't we see him in that after that? Well, don't we see that shot of him in it as it goes away from Gotham? I don't know.
But isn't like aren't buildings in the background when it's clearly over the river?
I have no idea. I really don't know.
We'll have to have a look when it comes up.
It's difficult because you really can't. There's some things, especially with the, because I think I could overlook it if it was like an MCU film, but because this trilogy is so hyper realistic, it's a bit hard to kind of. It's kind of hard to try and explain it because it's a nuke. It's not just a bomb. It's a nuclear bomb.
Yeah. I don't think Batman should be on that ice because how heavy is his armor?
Yeah.
And how heavy is he with all that muscle? He'd probably fall right through.
That's a great image as well. The flaming. That's
yeah.
Reminds me of the poster for The Dark Knight, actually.
It is.
Bane doesn't even sound that broken up about it. He's just like, impossible.
It's just like... someone got dirt on my wing.
The voice is good here, too.
It's like in... It is good, yeah.
It's just in other moments.
Yeah, I was going to say Bane's nonchalant reaction is like in the ending to the Invasion of Time episode 2. The transduction barrier has failed. We are being invaded. Can you act like that's happening and not like someone put dirt on my window?
Exactly.
Like, come on. Oh. I despise that story.
Do you know what? I really like the first 4 parts. It's just when it becomes a Sontaran story, it falls apart.
I'm willing to bet it was originally going to be 5 episodes, but then they thought, shit, we haven't got enough material to make 6.
Yes.
What do? Get the main actor who plays the Sontaran to say his lines really, really, really slowly.
Yeah.
So it's... you think it's over, and then it kicks you in the balls and says, fuck you, it's not over.
I've got to be honest, when I first watched it, because of its reputation, I was expecting a lot worse. But I think just because... I don't know, like you said, I enjoyed the first 4 parts for what they were. I was kind of digging it, but then you get to the last 2, Sontarans falling over deck chairs. And
it irritates me when people say, "Oh, the Troughton era had nothing but tinfoil villains." Have you seen the Invasion of Time?
Literal tinfoil villains.
Yeah, because I think it's a Dead Ringers parody where you've got John Coleshaw playing Tom Baker teasing a Patrick Troughton and going, "Ooh, look at me, I'm a crouton."
Holy shit! For about 10 minutes, his voice has been really good. What's
Yeah.
going on? He's hit a good spot.
Maybe he's not using his voice too much because obviously she knows
Yeah,
who
exactly.
he is.
And the same with Blake as well.
Yeah.
Close your mouth because it looks a bit ridiculous.
Yeah,
No,
that's.
Oh, yeah.
It is one of the. It is one of the issues I do have with Bale as an actor because I do think he's great. It's just he has a tendency to keep his mouth open when he's not speaking.
Yeah.
I just want to say, breathe through your nose, damn it. Or it might be like that scene on The Simpsons where they're praying in church and Homer's breathing through his nose like, "Stop it! Breathe through your damn mouth!" Yeah, and I love how the police are hesitant at first, obviously, because they've got no weapons, no hope. But when they see Batman, they just go, "Ah!"
Yes.
and, go crazy and are influenced by him.
And this is so epic as well. It's so epic.
I know. Yeah, and Bane's reaction here is a bit odd because the way he turns around, he's a bit surprised like he's seen Batman, but you saw the symbol last
Yes.
night. You must know he's back.
Like, the scale is so good. It really does feel like a last ditch effort for these characters. It is really great.
Yeah, it does feel again. The scale by each film goes up.
Yeah.
This feels like all out war. This is saving Gotham's soul. Whereas, yeah, The Dark Knight, as much as I love that film, it felt very much like a battle on the streets where this is full out war, all out assault, and it's pretty amazing.
And I love that they're getting closer and closer to each other without necessarily realizing it.
And I do like what Blake does. He gets all the citizens, rounds them up, and says, "We need to get out of here now in case we fail."
Yes.
And I like even when the bridge blows, he says, "Okay, we're all going to stick together. We're all going to put our heads down when it happens." Obviously, he knows that it's an atom bomb, so they're not going to survive it. But he doesn't tell
Exactly.
the kids that he doesn't want them to
In
die
fear.
without
Yeah.
faith. Yeah. And I am kind of glad that they did leave the whole Robin twist to the end because he's not, because it's like saying he's not good because he's Robin because he's
Yes,
good.
exactly.
Yeah, I do think I personally though, I still would have cut out the whole Robin revelation
Same.
because it feels a bit silly. Like, just have him be the next person who takes up the Batman
Yeah,
mantle.
I agree. I completely agree.
Now, isn't there an edit here where when they're outside fighting, he literally, or has it just happened? He kicks him into another city because they filmed it somewhere different.
Oh, really? I don't know.
Yeah, I heard it. It might have been earlier on the stairs. Like,
Yeah.
might be there or something. They filmed it maybe in America, and then he kicks him literally into England,
Oh.
or the other way around.
Oh, okay. No, I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
because obviously it was filmed. Because obviously it was filmed on different days.
I think it's that you can tell they're in a different space now because there's like a big. I don't know if you can see. You can vaguely see a church in the background there and like trees.
Ah,
So
okay.
I think it's
Yeah,
here.
you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, you can see greenery. And there wasn't there. It was just a full-on concrete jungle there on the exterior shots.
Yep. God, here it is. God, he sounds like Daffy Duck after having Donald Duck after having smoked
Yeah,
too
it's
many.
not intimidating.
Have you seen that cartoon where he goes, Heil Hitler, Heil Hitler, Heil Hitler?
Yes. Oh
It's
God.
so weird.
Yes. I'm pretty sure we had to watch that in school.
I mean, if you've got the, yeah, if you've also got the, have you got the Superman Anthology Blu-ray
I
box
do,
set? Yeah, there's a Bugs Bunny cartoon on that where he wants to be Super Bunny, like obviously like Superman,
Yeah.
but then gets literally at the end, I think he gets a call from the U.S. Army and puts on a soldier's outfit, grabs a rifle, starts singing the American national anthem or something, and walks towards a sign that says "To Germany."
Oh God. Oh,
Yeah.
bloody hell.
I mean, to be fair, having seen the Look in the Sky documentary on Superman, it is reflective of what was happening during the
Oh, yeah,
time
yeah.
when World War II broke out. Superman became pretty irrelevant because they realized an alien from another world can't defeat the crap we're in now with the Nazis
Yeah.
conquering Europe and hoping to conquer the world. Yeah, hence why Captain America was created.
Well, yeah, he's a product of the war, isn't he? Punching Hitler in the face. it's
Yeah, that's the first Captain America
Yeah.
comic.
That's partly why I love the first Captain America film so much because it is just like not many superhero films have the balls to be set in the era that these characters were originally created, and having that set in World War II is such a unique take. And when he's in the crappy like stage costume and stuff, and he's literally punching the Hitler actor in the face, it's just like, oh, this is so cool. This is so Captain America.
How many of you are going to help me sock old Adolf on the
Yeah,
jaw?
exactly.
Hey, Cap, sign this. Bring back the girls.
You sure you're ready for this? Yeah. I punched Hitler in the face over 40 times.
And again, this whole twist, it just feels so
Doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it might, I know I keep bringing it up, but it might have worked if the performance was a little, because it just feels like she's in a Saturday morning cartoon and the rest of these people are in a really realistic setting, and it's just like, it doesn't work, it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, the whole, you're looking for men. I could be of help. It's just like, it's really weird. I don't know what she's doing.
No, yeah. I'd have cut her out entirely.
Yeah.
Just have Bane be the main
Same,
villain.
because he literally.
Maybe have him drive the truck and be blasted by it, just saying that. Just change the dialogue a bit, saying the League's work is done,
Yes.
and have him die like that.
And exactly, because he literally just gets shot by Catwoman now, and then he's out of the film.
Yeah.
No final line, no big moment. He just gets shot by Catwoman, and he's gone.
Yeah, I'd have him drive the truck, because obviously the truck, it falls down the highway, motorway, something like
Yes.
that, onto another level. Maybe have the crash break off his mask, and which obviously kills him, and he says the League's work is
Yes.
done, and then that's it.
By the way, in the cinema, this scared the shit out of me. This jump scare with Catwoman shooting with the gun going off. I remember just the noise of it. Just
All right.
oh god. Biggest jump scare in the film that isn't a horror film.
Gets stabbed, and he's still able to walk it
Yes.
off.
Blake, MCU. I'm the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, again, Bane's exit is just really disappointing and lackluster. It's just, boom, he's out of it, that's it. But, yeah, it'd be like if in The Dark Knight, let me think, Lucius Fox came up and shot the Joker. It just wouldn't fit.
No, not at all. And especially because we've established him to be such a massive threat here, and a man who can literally put a whole city on lockdown, and put it pitting it at war with itself, and suddenly he just gets shot by a woman on a bike.
And also, it's pretty much a blink and you'll miss it moment. But his mercenary henchman, who was pretty much doing sniper stuff, negotiating with the army to ask supplies, he literally dies, and it's pretty much blink and you'll miss it, because he's about to get in the tank, but then just gets shot, and he's just like, ugh.
Essentially, yeah, it's just like, yeah.
This climax is great, because, again, mostly done practically.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's really good.
And I wonder, is it in... There's 11 minutes till the bomb goes off. Is that in real time?
Oh.
Because it does feel like that.
It might be. I think. I mean, if in any film like this, it's sort of. It's one of those things that there's going to be holes either way, right? There's going to be slight time differences. It's never going to be accurate, but I think it is as close to real time as possible.
I'm surprised when they blow the bridge, he just doesn't say, "Yeah, mate!
Yeah.
Yeah, damn you! Should have said that. and the Gotham citizens are like, "Can we go to the fun side
Yeah,
now?"
right.
And I just noticed here there was a McDonald's there.
Oh, was there? Oh God, bloody hell, fair enough.
Yeah, you'll have to literally pause
Yeah.
it, and yeah, you can see a McDonald's.
But the the police there blow the bridges, and he's like, "You killed us! You killed us!" Unless they get away very quickly, they're dead
They're
as
dead as
well.
well.
There's no, and even if they
Yeah,
left now, there'd be no escaping the nuclear blast.
yeah. Well, as you can see, this sector here is most certainly dead, whereas the orange sector, that's us, will suffer horrific mutations for years to come.
Yeah.
Would you say this is, Professor? Would you say this is the time to crack open each other's skulls and feed on the gorge within? Yes, I would, Kent. I don't think it is real time
No.
because now we've gone from 11 minutes
Yeah.
to 5 minutes in 2 minutes. Does remind me of the Simpsons movie a bit. Somebody throw the goddamn bomb! Imagine if Batman came back. I can't do anything right. Kicks the bomb, goes from 11 minutes to 6 minutes. Get out of here!
Simpsons movie is great. It's really good.
Yeah, I do like it. Yeah, would have. I did see it in the cinemas when it came
Same.
out. I
Yeah.
remember
Same.
my I'd finished my school year, and my parents immediately took me to go see it.
Yeah. I would have only been really young. But I had a tradition with my dad. Like me and him used to watch The Simpsons every night on Channel 4. Uh, it was kind of like a
I
tradition.
remember when it was on BBC
Ah,
Two.
there you go. There you go. Yeah. So when the movie came out, I was like prime age and ready for it.
And then she reveals when she's about to die, I know how to flood the chamber. Like,
Yeah.
you couldn't have done that earlier, then this entire chase probably would have been avoided. I mean, regardless, Batman probably would still have gotten the bomb and got it out over the city, but she didn't know that. Oh yeah, I love how it kills her, but Commissioner Gordon is completely fine.
And considering he was like trapped between a massive bomb.
Yep.
Yeah, this death seems really bad. It's really, really bad.
It is, yeah.
And it gets mocked a lot, so I won't
Again,
dwell on it, but yeah.
yeah. Again, it would have been perfectly fine if you cut Talia out and just kept
Yeah,
Bane
exactly.
in it. And it does surprise me that this film wasn't nominated for any Oscars, like nothing
Yeah.
for visual effects, cinematography, editing, sound
Yeah.
mixing, the other sound awards, but I think that surprised a lot of critics as well, that there was no Oscar nominations
It's
for.
kind of a surprise, actually.
What is that?
It's really
It's done.
bad. It's really bad. Probably one of my favourite moments in the trilogy coming up. Certainly my favourite moment from this film is when like the whole hero can be anyone, even something as simple as putting a coat around a boy's head to make him know that the world hadn't ended. I love that.
Yeah, and I love Commissioner Gordon's line to him. He says, "I never cared who you
Yeah.
were."
and like cutting in the.
So I think at this point in the, I was just gonna say at this point in the trilogy, he's probably the only person in Gotham who doesn't
Most
know that Bruce Wayne is Batman. Everyone else has guessed it at this point.
But yeah, I just love that cut back to to Batman Begins, and that line is just so brilliant, and it's a wonderful ending to this trilogy.
Yeah, just going back to the whole, does he eject here? Because
Yeah.
I think, yeah, here it comes. Blows the building apart, so he obviously comes through. So did he eject during the smoke or something?
I don't know, because so there's buildings there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look, because there's buildings in the back, but then again, there's buildings going by when he's there, so...
But this is what I mean. Isn't there another shot now where he's in it? I'm sure there's another shot from the cockpit. I might be imagining it, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a shot there, but it doesn't show any outside scenes, so...
but it's also he looks back. He the shot starts and he's looking down, implying that that's at the bus or the bridge, and then he looks back up into the horizon. So I don't know. It's difficult. It's really
Yeah, because it's
difficult.
like they're trying to... It's kind of like what I call the Moffat endings, where, you know, he gives both a happy and a sad ending. Because Moffat does that with a lot of his companions, and here it's kind of the same thing. Like, you want Batman to do the ultimate sacrifice for Gotham,
Yeah.
but you also want to give Bruce Wayne the happy life that he always wanted.
And I think if you really want to be nitpicky, there's probably going to be excess radiation that is going to make its way to.
So Gotham's still probably going to be
Yeah,
in
if-
quarantine for another 10 years.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be another Chernobyl.
well, most likely, yeah. If not as big a scale as that, it's probably going to be excess radiation that pulls its way through. But whatever, let's
Yep.
take it.
Ah, well, I buy it. Alfred's like, I swore to protect you, and now you're all
Yeah.
dead. I'm really bad at this job.
It's such a it's brilliant performance from
Yeah,
him.
but Michael Caine really sold
Really
it.
fantastic.
Michael Caine is like one of those cool granddads you
Yeah.
meet who tells you all those awesome stories that he's been on. I want to give him a
Yeah.
hug. You didn't fail, damn it. And that was the dilemma of the second film. Batman could be a symbol
Yeah.
of hope, but now he is forgotten
A
rather than Harvey
literal
Dent.
statue. And I love the music here as well. It's great. And I love that the Wayne Manor becomes an orphanage.
Yeah, that's a really
It's
fitting
really good.
ending.
Martha and Thomas Wayne, Xavier School for Gifted Mutants.
Yep. Da-da-da-da.
Yeah. Yeah, the Robin thing is because it's clearly ADR as well. Because she's not. You should use
Yeah.
the full name Robin. It just doesn't.
Yeah, again, it's like Clark Kent calling himself Clark Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I do like the pills are missing, which obviously it means Selina has them.
Yeah. That's bloody Jake Canuso from Benidorm. Yeah, what the bloody hell?
Oh, okay.
Christ, he's just a
That's
very small
random.
cameo as the waiter in the hotel. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, this scene here, I would have liked it if we just see Alfred's reaction, him nodding, and maybe not seeing Bruce and
Yes.
Selina. Like, leave it to the audience's imagination.
I agree. That would have been really good. Or even just a smile or a sort of raising the glass. Yeah, that would have been great.
Yeah, people have asked Christian Bale, did Alfred come over and join you?
Yeah.
And yeah, Bale's pretty adamant by saying, no, he didn't. He was, content and happy that he got the life that he wanted
Yeah.
for him, so he just left him alone. You do wonder, how long were they coming to that restaurant to wait for Alfred? Can't we go somewhere else? No, it's this restaurant we have to go to every day.
I do like that it doesn't show Selina in focus. It keeps her out of focus.
True,
You can
yeah.
tell it's her, but also, yeah. It's a great ending. I really like that ending. It fits really well with what the trilogy is building up
I
to.
do as well, yeah. It does have its flaws, but the good stuff definitely outweighs its flaws, and it's still a very worthy ending to a spectacular trilogy.
Yeah, and I think you're right. The good does outweigh the bad. I think the flaws in here are scripting problems. If this had gone through another draft, it feels like it
Yeah.
could use another draft just to polish some things up. And obviously that wouldn't have fixed everything. Marion Cotillard's performance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Flaws like that wouldn't have fixed everything. But yeah, it's scripting really. And I wonder, yeah, like you said, I wonder if there's any footage deleted scenes out there that they did film of him returning to Gotham, like you say, or I don't know. It's interesting.
I just realised we've gone through this entire trilogy and we have not mentioned Hans
You
Zimmer's
know what? I was
score.
about to say that. We have not mentioned it once. We haven't mentioned it once.
Yeah, well, seems perfect opportunity. We've got about 10 minutes, so as a score, I do really, really like it, and yeah, it's great for the action scenes. It suits Batman very well.
Yeah.
I just say the problem with it is that a lot of composers today tend to copy it.
Yeah.
And I do think it kind of started that trend of film scores kind of just becoming background noise.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, because I really like the music, but unfortunately, like you said, there's not really any themes. There's not really any. The Batman
true.
theme is just kind of noise in a way, like it's dun dun
Yeah.
dun, like it's I do like it. Unfortunately, again, like The Dark Knight, the film, people learned the wrong lessons from it. Unfortunately,
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I just wish it was more of a theme for Batman in a way. That's kind of my only regret.
And I do like Hans Zimmer's Superman theme for Man of Steel, particularly Flight. That matches the majesty
Yeah.
and the mysterious and might of Superman. That's really good.
Yeah.
Where when I hear that music, I think of someone in trouble. They put up their hand and they see Superman, being silhouetted by the sun.
Yeah,
That's a really good theme.
yeah, absolutely. I really like his Superman theme because it feels like it's continuing the same kind of tradition as the John Williams music, just for a new setting.
Yeah, didn't he say after Batman v Superman he decided to step away from superhero films? Because I don't think he's done any
He did
since.
Dark Phoenix. He said he was gonna step away.
Yeah, he did.
He said he was gonna step away from superhero films, but he ended up doing Dark Phoenix, which was a bit odd. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it amazes me. He's done scores for Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, and the X-Men.
Wow, yeah. Oh God, I always forget his Spider-Man theme.
I didn't mind his score for the Amazing Spider-Man 2, particularly the kind of like the fanfare, the
yeah, it's good. I like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 score is literally two halves, and one half is really good. Like I liked all of the emotional tracks.
Yeah.
Work really well. And then the other half is he hates me, he shot at me, that Spider-Man's my enemy. And it's just
I'm kind of mixed on the electro. To be honest, I don't mind the dubstep of electro, the
that's okay.
But the whole my enemy thing is just so
really bad.
Weird.
But it's literally a score of two halves because half of it's so good and the other half of it is mind-numbing.
It'd be like if in The Dark Knight he put in the lyrics to the Joker's theme where you know how got to these scars.
Yeah.
My father was a drinker and now I say why so serious. It'd be like that.
Yeah, it's like it's really nuts, and it is weird, that score. It is so bizarre because I like the guitars in it and stuff. It works really well, but the other half is bollocks. And it's weird that it's a Hans Zimmer score because it doesn't sound like Hans Zimmer at all. Like if you looked at these films and sort of thought, oh yeah, that's the same guy who did the Amazing Spider-Man 2, I don't think you'd know because it just doesn't feel it at all.
Well, they did ask James Horner to come back from the Amazing Spider-Man, but didn't he read the script and call it rubbish?
Shit,
yeah.
Which is a shame.
It's so sad how he went. He died in a plane crash, didn't he?
Yeah. Yes, he did.
That's horrible because he was a really great composer.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I love his score for Titanic. It's fantastic.
Great. I love his score for Aliens as well, which apparently the Aliens score was done at the 11th hour because it was like 3 weeks before the film was supposed to come out, and they'd given him no footage to work from, so we had literally 3 weeks to compose a whole score, which was nuts. But yeah.
But overall, as we're coming to the end, this trilogy is absolutely fantastic. It's 15 years old, and it's still amazing.
Absolutely.
Still a wonderful take on Batman, and my favourite superhero trilogy of all time.
It's still influencing things, and its legacy is cemented. And I'll tell you what, is it the definitive adaptation of Batman? Probably not. But is it a damn good one that gets to the core of the character? Absolutely.
Yes.
And it absolutely does get to the core of that character and what he means and what he represents. And
definitely.
And although the third film is flawed, it's still it's more than the sum of its parts because it all comes together to create a wonderful story and a wonderful ending to the trilogy.
It does, yeah.
And it was really the last, if you think about it, it's the last time we got superhero films which weren't a part of any universe.
Weren't shared continuity, and pretty much standalone.
Just a standalone trilogy about a superhero that told one story over the 3 films. This is the kind of last time we got that, which is nuts when you think about it.
Yeah.
It really is. That's the end of an era. So, yeah, I hope you all enjoyed our Nolan trilogy commentaries. Next time we'll be starting a new series of commentaries. What will we be doing next time?
We will be covering some more classic Doctor Who. We'll only be sticking with classic because we did New Who earlier in the year and we haven't done classic in a while. So yes, we will be doing 7 more stories, 1 from each Doctor, and the next commentary is going to be on Doctor Who: The Gunfighters.
Join us next time in the Last Chance Saloon.
Yep.
So yeah, look forward to the Gunfighters next time. In the meantime, go subscribe to Isaac's channel, and we will see you next time.
Bye bye.